lost. That kind
Yeah.
and I remember at a certain point really getting into that. It was absolutely compelling, but at a certain point, the compellingness of it just disappeared.
Yeah.
And I think that was when the audience collectively began to realize that they didn't know where they were going.
They don't know where they're going.
They were like making it up, and episode by episode. And I mean, immediately the drama disappears. It's no longer mysterious. There has to be a governing idea. But what I would want to avoid on the flip side is somehow that you've got the concept that the artwork is simply a physical translation of a concept. It contributes more than that somehow, right?
There has to be a play between the two. I think, like, I've been thinking a lot about beauty. I've been thinking a lot about beauty because, on the one hand, I remember seeing, like that kind of Platonic idea, right? That beauty is the expression of the infinite, something like that. And I always thought, well, that's a good description of beauty. But then I realized that I had a tendency to describe beauty very much top down. It's like beauty is when you see harmony, beauty is when you see order, beauty. But I realized that actually, you know what? That's not true. That's not actually what you perceive as beauty. Beauty is something like harmony joined to a particular.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's integrated harmony into the contingency of a particular place, a particular thing. And that's when you actually perceive beauty. So something that is actually too perfect and too balanced is monstrous.
Yeah.
But you need this weird discussion between what the particular material, space, situation, whatever offers, and the pattern which kind of comes down and is married to it.
It's like when the absolute shines through the particular, that you see beauty.
You could, but the particular plays a part in it.
Right, exactly. Like if there's no particular, the absolute can't manifest itself.
And there's also a way in which the infinite also appears mysteriously in an aspect of idiosyncrasy that is properly there.
Right.
It's like the idea of this weird idea, like if you read in the
Welcome. I hope you're feeling virtually not alone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know if anybody's even listening, really. Like these voices in the background makes them feel virtually not alone. Your host, General Griswold Gaius, member of the First Law Regression Protocol and a member of the Fraternal Regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy. On behalf of the Sacred Order of Foolish Transparency, as with the film, we have some all-stars in the hive mind today.
And then it auto plays the original. This one for a minute. Thanks, McMo. I think right there is when it starts to get preachy. And as you can see, I had plenty of time to get ready for today's stream. Somehow, we're going to make it from Honeypot Cops all the way to this card. But you didn't get to read that. Okay, let's see. First of all, as you may or may not know, big old Pastor Paul, to which I adjunct profess in this little corner. Did me the solid of giving me something. Well, it's sort of like an agentic loan is the first way we understood it. And he did so by making a stream with this here thumbnail. It's this morning's homeroom. You might recognize it. You see there I am in the top left, directly across from the Russell brand. And Cale Zeldin is directly across from Papa Peterson. That's kind of weird. It looks like a Monster Party monster fight in the middle, though. That's fun. So now, because he did the big thing, right, and put like me and Papa Peterson on the same thumbnail, I have to note that I thought, as far as the homeroom presentation went, it really didn't feature Papa Peterson enough. So to rectify that and earn the spot on the thumbnail, I present to you now the following. Move, mouse. No, not that. Wait, what? This one. But why do you want to you put this tab first, bro? Well, dude, just do it. Sorry, guys. It's a heck of a morning. Come on, mouse.
And I think it's cruel that people are told they have to go to university, they have to spend $100,000 to $200,000 to get a degree so they can get a job. Otherwise, they're screwed. It's just a scam, but it bothers me that people are being scammed to learn to not believe in themselves, assume that they can't fix their problems, and then hate their country, basically. It would be funny if we could blow apart the university system a little bit because it's broken, because of what it did to you. You were alienated out of your job, basically.
You'll be damn fortunate if we can provide you with a list of people who've graduated. And if you had any sense, you'll employ them preferentially because we did the rigorous screening work. I know how to do the rigorous screening work because I studied that for like 25 years. A degree from our university will signify high-level conscientiousness and general cognitive ability, and those are very valuable for any employer with a clue. So I think we can.
So I think that bit of your commercial justified us being on the same thumbnail, Papa Peterson.
I'm attacking the darkness.
Meanwhile, back to the tab I meant to play beforehand, which was going to buy me enough time to be ready to proceed with the show by now.
Off and a little strange. But the video really is about causes, because right now in our culture, there's sort of three main causes. There's lots and lots and lots of causes, but sort of three buckets I put them in often. Sort of liberal social justice, conservative social justice, and evangelical salvationism. And the priority to which people stack these things tends to say a lot about where they put their attention and where they focus. But of course, the printing press comes along, and now suddenly attention can be marshaled and directed over a much larger group of people. No longer does it have to be focused on a speech or focused on a narrative that people are sort of carrying around and participating in their head. Now, this can be sustained with pamphlets and books, and pamphlets are at least as important as books, especially in the Reformation period. And then, of course, newspapers come, and newspapers are tremendously powerful things. It's not an accident that Meet John Doe is set in a newspaper context. Radio really hadn't quite, radio and movies were kind of coming up there, but all the attention was on the ways in which newspapers were creating these political extended bodies. And of course, just do a little bit of research on the role of the Hearst newspapers in getting in the Spanish-American War, for example. Remember the Maine. And then of course television comes, and television is more powerful because now you have a voice, and now you have Walter Cronkite sitting behind a desk, and now you have all of the tools, of course, Pravda in the Soviet Union, which means truth. You have all of these tools. And
hey, whoa, 33 comments I haven't read yet. Hey, this one says, you and Kale missed that younger generation also don't know how to program the VCR. The tech has been refined and so that only our generation is aware of its power, limitations, and the before time. Thank you. Good to see you, Phlebas. Tayo in the chat. Phlebas, nobody left that in the comment on the thing, on me and Kale's thing. So, yes, you do need new savings throws. I'm sorry. It's a live stream. It happens live when the time comes, even if you're not ready, as it turns out. But the cheddar is there, Embody.
Remember, there is no agency. We want what's best.
Well, I know 40 seconds was not long enough for you to find what you were looking for, but when you find it, you just search Malice on your own channel to find it, and then you bring up this, which you're going to run now.
And publicly in a context like this, in some kind of studious or serious context, violates the ethos of 4chan. Who am I?
He served a podcast with my daughter, Michaela Peterson, twice. I think that's an admirable moral principle.
What you are saying, to be the opposite of Kathy Newman in this context, is accurate in that a lot of powerful people are there through inertia, are there through nepotism, are there through corporate means because they play the game.
Hail Hydra.
There is this elite contempt, and to some degree it was associated with the political class, but on further analysis, it's not the political class, right. It's the chattering literati, the chattering educated literati, and I actually happen to think that that's the case. That
are we taking this agitprop at face value instead of mocking it, clowning it, and basically rendering the tool impotent? These are not kind, caring people who care about your grandma in your neighborhood. These are power-hungry sociopaths who will smile at your face and do whatever they need to when the lights are off.
I suppose.
Any of these calls of unity, in my view, are always sleight of hand to marginalize or oppress a certain population.
There isn't anything more powerful to fight that than spoken truth.
I agree.
Because that's quite a radical statement, I would say, but I think it does speak to this T-shirt that I mentioned earlier.
Hail Hydra!
Yeah. If you disagree with me, there is some possibility that you know something I don't. And if you disagree, I could learn something from you. Can we create a narrative and string along legacy media types? Does this new technological platform have enough power to bend and twist what has been the standard means of delivering the cultural narrative for decades?
Organized goal-seeking minority is going to be able to punch very much above its weight in terms of getting the achievements it wants.
It only works well when the actual orientation is love. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more.
And humor.
Well,
because they're using,
it's very rare. Go ahead, talk about humor.
Because I do think you're a bad actor. I think it's the mindset, and I don't think that mindset's at all irrational. That was that ethos brought to life.
There's a part of me that thinks, Jesus Christ, don't you have anything better to do? But there's also a part of me that thinks, well, wait a second, there's something really complicated going on here that has to do with the redistribution of power and also the acquisition of a voice by people who are individuals and not part of a corporate group, let's say, but who have access to tremendous technological power, and they're serving the function of jesters, and they're serving the function of comedians. And I think comedians in particular are the canaries in the coal mine for a free culture. As soon as the comedians are threatened, you know something's. As soon as the comedians are nervous, you know something's up. Because
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Anonymous, decentralized, and evanescent.
where what by your performance you're turning a third party by exploiting their weaknesses into an unwitting performer on their own.
You know, you need a bit of it, but you can't have too much of it.
The networks have to assume that everybody watching has no memory and no education and no attention span, because the bandwidth requirements demand that. And now that's all gone. That's not an insult, by the way.
Sure.
But it was in some sense, you're documenting something that's so revolutionary that even the people using it don't know how revolutionary it is. So let me ask you about that. Even in some sense, you're documenting something that's so revolutionary that even the people using it don't know how revolutionary it is. So let me ask you about this. So now all of a sudden, the network, everyone's a TV station. Okay, so now,
Hail Hydra.
That might have run. That last part of that last clip might have run too long, and caught me in the coffee. Why are you saying coffee? Why? Because somebody let you know it's National Coffee Day by buying you one over on Ko-fi.com/Grimgris. That's good. I'm glad you did that. Part of the reason this show took so long is that I've acquired protesters outside the streaming headquarters, and I had to deal with the protester non-violently, and I stole their sign. The sign says, "Super exciting gold chart, very high tech, help Grimgris stay alive." And now we're already like right here on that, thanks to that buy me a that one. Oh, that was just a regular super chat. That's it. We're only at like $3.75 now then.
look, if you take 10 kids and you have them play the same game, all the kids get to play the game, but not all of them get to play the game they wanted to at that moment. But at least they all get to play a game.
And here on the Grim.
Okay, ready to start.
Stop. What the?
All right.
Oh, sorry. It auto-played again. And here on the Grimcast, we play a game called You Get Savings Throws. The savings throws are based on your will to survive, your social network, your wisdom, or the power of your heart. You get to choose, and it's a savings throw against the mind control, of which I've already subjected you to almost 20 minutes. Thanks, Amadi, and welcome. It's one of those streams. So this is the savings throw part where you get to choose survival, social, wisdom, or heart. You get a bonus +2 for chatting in the Hive Mind chat, and a bonus +5 for commenting on the last stream's replay. If there's a nat 1, your bonuses don't work. And if you got a nat 20 on the last stream, you have a +3 today. It's all very complicated, and we trust you to do your own math. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. Whoa, out of the box. The social and wisdom today. So that's exciting. The survival die. You're going to need your bonuses. That's a 6 for you. That's a 6 for you. Social, guys, nat 1. All those bonuses for nothing. This one's going to get you. It's not the rhythm, but it's going to get you. Wisdom lovers. That's a 7 for you. Count your chakras. Heart folks making it solid with a 15. And Indigo kids, it's the 8 of you again. I think you got the Indigo kids should probably get together and watch that Netflix show Sense8 that the Wachowski siblings did, but not the second season. It's just an orgy. The second season.
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Nanny.
And so we're gonna do some cards for the show in a moment, and oh, happy National Coffee Day, as Em was let us to know. Apparently, Red Pill thinks I'm a honeypot. You're welcome to change his mind for at least $2 a pop. Go, Grizz, go! Wow, that's now on. Let's see, what's the math on 30% of that? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Can you guys do with like the 30% included? As you may or may not know, one of the personas that occupies General Griswold Gaius Grim of the First LARP Ingression Protocol, member of the Sacred Order of Foolish Transparency and Fraternal Regiment, embodying narcissistic sociopathy, is a time traveler from an alternate universe similar to this one, but where we got stuff done faster, I guess. We have John Vervegi is a philosopher king there with a big metal arm, and I don't know, should that, whatever that card was, if you want it to be the casino card for the show for you, you can. I'm going to pull another one anyway. And in that timeline, today I realized, I remembered, right? It's because anyway, I remembered a product that doesn't exist in this timeline today, but I'm going to do a commercial for it anyway, because we're in the fall inversion now. And the reminder came as this card to me. It says, how do I teach my 7-year-old wizardry? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the fall inversion now. And prior to the inversion, there was a card game called Magic the Gathering. And so to invert Magic the Gathering, we invent a card game called Gathering the Magic, in which players use rhetorical wizardry cards and maybe casino cards, like the Jack of Hearts, to train their children how to survive and exist in the mind control in which we all swim. Blue Church getting nothing of a shovel today. 7 of spades. Welcome, everybody. The gimmick parts are over. at that. Joe Cross, thank you. I apparently don't have it set up to properly show the messages if you use the Ko-fi bot. But those come in without the 30% cuts and do the math for us. So thanks for that, Joe. We're 7% towards the daily sustenance goal. That's weird to say. Welcome. Okay, all right. What are we doing now? We're doing Honeypot Cops, Grim. You're doing a Honeypot Cops stream. Cops. You don't mean cops, do you? Probably not. You get to Faith Mountains from Honeypot Cops. Great. Great. Thanks for setting me up to this. You know, I think you can do it, though, because why?
I believe that if everyone sees what just a few people become when they wholly embrace their gifts, others will awaken.
And as we're here today together, celebrating National Coffee Day, feeling virtually not alone, special thanks to the Shadow Cabal, I'm reminded that the use of a stimulant has been normalized, and it may put us at a disadvantage with the Mormons who abstain. All right, the truth of the matter is I'm still not here. But I do recall that Pastor Paul made a homeroom video with us in it, in which we go over the Russell Brand thing, apparently. Here, let's get fully here and run a little more of that.
So you have all of this formation, and then Grim Grizz talks about sort of the normalization of all of this. And now there's a real panic with respect to, well, what happens with social media, because now counter narrative people have their own platforms, and these platforms can get large, and they can use rhetoric. They can talk fast and blah 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 blah, and oh, they're BSing people, or they can talk smoothly, and they can be so calm and so pastoral. Now, again, as a pastor, I can use both modes. I have to use both modes. It's called rhetoric. It's called speech. It's called relationality. It doesn't mean it's always BS. That's not what it means. Now, just to sort of look to the other side, someone also on Twitter pointed this out to me.
Today, I want to talk about the Russell Brand situation and some unique insights I have that I've been saving for a grand reveal in the book that I've been writing for many years now. But so I sort of came to the depressing realization this week that it's probably just never going to be finished. Here I am talking to you, telling you about it now.
And who the hell are you? Well, before we get to that man's great reveal, we did the Jordan Peterson commercial. That's an autoplay. Okay, there's this. Would you want to start there? Yeah, we'll start there. Okay. So if you don't know, there's a guy named Russell Brand, and in the homeroom today, Pastor Paul played the following.
Oh shoot, where was I going with this? Attention. Before I move on to the background and context I mentioned, there is one other preemptive move that Brand made against this story, and he posted it on TikTok 2 days before his blanket denial uploaded to YouTube.
Christ's final words, "Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do." Of course, in this moment, Christ is referring to his own execution at the hands of the Roman judiciary, and Pilate famously washing his hands of our Lord and Saviour. But its relevance in that moment is very particular. Of course, the sacrifice of a living God is a massive, seismic, epochal and defining human event. But is it not more relevant right now? Because as Joseph Campbell says, what does it matter if Christ dies on the cross 2,000 years ago, if we are not continually dying and reborn unto ourselves, that we may experience each moment anew? Is this not exactly what Lord Buddha is referring to? Remain awake, remain in the present. Perhaps what is meant, or one interpretation that I might offer you of Christ's words, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do, is that most people, most of the time, are unconscious. Forgive them, they know not what they do. They don't know why they're saying that. They don't know why they're doing that. They don't know why they're driving that way.
I hope that wasn't too quiet for you guys. But the point is, he invoked the forgiveness and the know not what they do. And I wanted to know that in it, he specifically addresses the Roman side of them not knowing what they do, not anybody else involved in the crucifixion. And that may be what we call a tell. Back to this. Now, Pastor Paul, if you're still around, sir, if you're still around, you can check for me, please. If when you go to look at your studio side of this video, if this clip shows up for you to click on, this one that I made today from your stream or your show.
You learn when you learn rhetoric is in fact the art of rhetoric, that the pause, the moment to reflect, making the point strongly. I mean, this is all, of course, rhetoric. Now, to totally dismiss these people and say they're just, their mouths are working so fast their brains can't keep up. So that certainly happens. And again, I'm not a Russell Brand fan for a whole variety of reasons. But even one thing that he played in this video about it was rather theological. We'll see if I can find it. Hate it when I don't press the record button. So there's a preemptive. Russell Brand is notified that this article is coming. That
was a sloppy reaping, and I let it run long. The point is the rhetorical cards, the pause, the naming the points really fast. These sort of moves are the sort of moves that can be action cards in our Gathering the Magic game. Wow. Right? Well, no, it's still on top, and I don't know, man. It just happens. It's happened. Welcome, everybody. This is the Grim Grizz stream. Happy Coffee Day and welcome to the Honeypot Cops Faith Mountain stream. I'm your host, General Griswold. Guy is Grim. And now we're talking about this Russell Brand fellow, and like he made this Call to Christ TikTok before the whole controversy dropped. As I noted in Pastor Paul's comments today, there's things about Russell Brand that may have drifted down into the fog that can only be retrieved via the power of this nostalgia. And so here is a mystery presentation that you may have forgotten about.
And
that might be too on the nose musically for the bots we have patrolling. It's like as if this is a Morpheus ship, and those squiddy things that destroy us that we need the EMPs for will come if we play too much of the music. It's the Willy Wonka song, is it not? Wait, what? He's the world. Everybody's happy about it. Oh, Oh, look, there's 4. And he gets off the bus. Now he's off the bus, and yeah, and that's I guess this was the closing ceremony for the Olympics. So now what we have is some mysterious performance, violins and magic bus and imagination. We're kind of this flotilla of YouTube channels and people who share consciousness with those channels we know about rituals and things like that. Like mass rituals are a thing that are probably important since there's principalities doing stuff and whatnot. And I just think it would be really convenient for everybody if we had some sort of way to interpret the symbols that are used in these rituals. I don't. Oh, what's this? Uncovering your father's nakedness? No. Let's just run John's commercial.
This is Jonathan Pajot. Welcome to the symbolic world.
All right, everybody. I am back with Jonathan Pajot on his own channel, interviewing him about a very important event coming.
Course on C.S. Lewis and the Space Trilogy by Annie Crawford. There's going to be a course on metaphysics coming with J.P. Marceau. So it's really the place to already rev up your relationships, get to know people, get a sense of who's coming, so that once we arrive, we're ready to discuss and ready to exchange and to get to know each other.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody too. I've been interacting with in person.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that place was where they were doing it. I thought they'd be doing it in Jupiter, Florida. That they're doing it in that place means I have to go. I'm not going to tell you why, but I do. So I guess I'll be setting up a new dono site to fund me to infiltrate to that. It's in February. It's fine. I can make it in February. Never mind.
Person, so many people. So the event details again are February 29th through March 2nd. This is 2024. It's in Tarpon Springs, Florida. Tickets are on sale now. You can find a link in the description of this video. I don't know what else to say. Tarpon is a wonderful area again. Like, I'm going to put a map up right now. Look at how close you are to everything else you want to do in Florida while you're here. So just make.
Is anybody got a dime? I don't have it.
Well, I'm significantly derailed now. Congratulations, Grim.
I'm gonna have a look at you.
Let's get back to this guy. No. You were at you. Okay. All right, let's here. Let's just here. All right. Welcome back to the Honeypot Cops Faith Mountain stream. I'm Grim Grizz. We're talking kind of about Russell Brand at the moment and how he has become a figurehead of independent media and has now come under what we would call public persecution by the Blue Church. And Pastor Paul has fetched from us some podcast where he makes an allusion to the crucifixion. And the fact that he does that, and of all the talking and speaking on the Russell Brand that I hear, that is not hardly ever mentioned, is it feels as though we've forgotten something important. We've forgotten something important about this man. And while the Olympic ceremony and the symbolism is interesting, the thing I think that we've forgotten important can be relayed to you in these next few minutes. I need to take them for myself. However, I will tell you, please, to watch for the following. First, as this thing begins, watch for what he does, what Russell Brand does as far as establishing rapport, they call it, with the interviewer in the first moments of the video. And otherwise, just watch his body language and mannerisms as this proceeds.
Mr. Brand? Mr. Brand?
All right, Jake.
It's very good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
This is the only interview of this type that I'm doing.
And that means the world to me. Seriously, it really does.
Because you are so likable.
I really appreciate that.
That's a southern charm that he's got, isn't it?
You think so?
It must be. I don't know. It's a thing I don't know about. I'm from.
I learned it from you. I think to myself, what would Russell Brand do? And
Well,
that's how I go. I want to start out by one of my favorite quotes from Howard Barker. He said, "In the end, the only place to go is where you're from." And I think that sort of personifies you and who you are. And because obviously after years of, successful films and books and a television program, you're going.
I can't just let it go. All right, first of all, my bookie wook, right? But no.
I want to start out by one of my.
I want to start out by look at how the setup of this was. Like, how often do you see interviews that involve mirrors? And also watch how often the man being interviewed looks as if though to a handler for permission or confirmation he's not saying inappropriate things.
My favorite quotes from Howard Barker. He said, "In the end, the only place to go is where you're from." And I think that sort of personifies you and who you are. And because obviously after years of, successful films and books and a television program, you're going back to your comedic roots. And I want to talk about if the only place to go is where you're from. I want to start out by talking about where you're from. When you started on that London stand-up circuit, the days when you used to cut up a pig's head on stage or tear up copies of the Quran or smash a bat and throw it into the stage. How did that Russell Brand become the Russell Brand who just delivered one of the most profound comedy shows I've ever seen?
Oh, well, that's a nice question. Well, in a way, it's not that different. All that's happened is I've learned how to better articulate my intention. At first, I was trying to sort of say, I don't think things are right, which is a thing what all comedians are in a way doing, even if it's a domestic observation or an observation about relationships or a broader social observation. Comedian is saying, I don't think things are right. And I used to say that by cutting up pig's head or tearing up the Quran. I could see that these were likely to lead to trouble and were not funny.
So, now this was an interview for his Russell Brand interview for the Messiah Complex tour, and now right before this happened, and this is why now as you know, I take things a little further than most. It's a matter of integral calculus, really. You just extend it toward the limit until it gets weird, and then you can see how it's messed up in the beginning the whole time, right? Like, you can't tell it's messed up until you run it out a really long way into crazy land, but then you can see the fundamental flaw. And so as such, in the beginning of this interview, when the guy says you can't go anywhere but where you're from, and then and then he's doing this crucifixion complex. And then in the background, you know that I'm aware of the thing called Project Bluebeam, which is reported on by a guy who had a mysterious heart attack, about how essentially if the Messiah comes, then the Christian religion is over, and whatever we tell them they can't, because Christ already came, it's over. See, if you have a religion with a Messiah, then one thing you can do is have the Messiah come, and then you have the minds of all those people. Bluebeam! And so, this man in the interview says you can't go but from where you came. So if it turns out in the end that Russell Brand was an alien this whole time, Grimm told you so. I just like to train. I just like to train. Hey, Chad, I just realized I have to learn how to play that on this now. Sorry, buddy. I thought you were outside. So let's get back to where Pastor Paul took the conversation real quick, because we're going to integral calculus that too.
Speech. It's called relationality. It doesn't mean it's always BS. That's not what it means. Now, just to sort of look to the other side, someone also on Twitter pointed this out to me.
Today, I want to talk about the Russell Brand situation and some unique insights I have that I've been saving for a grand reveal in the book that I've been writing for many years now. But I sort of came to the depressing realization this week that it's probably just never going to be finished. Here I am talking to you, telling you about it now. A lot of people have been surprised to see the British government today file this letter to TikTok and to Rumble asking to demonetize Russell Brand.
Now, we talked about this a little bit. I'll probably clip it and put it on the channel. A little ad hoc.
I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention enough to think that I was going to bring this up. But if you take a mortal man and demonetize him, wait, what? What, you demon? Shut up, Graham.
Conversation I had with Sam and with Luke.
Oh, what a serendipitous find that was, because I knew I had to find that moment in the in his presentation, but I didn't have the time to do it before we started streaming, and yet I had found the moment itself, and now I can hide behind it for a few minutes. Thanks, Em. Let me address some of this. The ones that paid for it anyway. I have starred a bunch of your comments in the hive mind, and we'll be going over those. Stay tuned. But first, we have the generousness of Lynn Lavoie reaching us toward our daily sustenance goal. But on National Coffee Day, hot cocoa instead. I don't know. I don't know. But as previously as mentioned.
Talked about this a little bit. I'll probably clip it and put it on the channel. A little ad hoc conversation I had with Sam and with Luke. I was thinking about doing a video on that today, especially with respect to Russell Brand. But I haven't done a Russell Brand video yet.
Luke, what do you think of all the Russell Brand business? Because I know in general you kind of like Russell Brand.
Yeah, I do. I think as far as the allegations,
or all of it, any of it, pick your slice of pie.
I like it when Luke's wife goes away for work.
I like like what he's trying to do with his project politically and globally, and being free and speaking truth to power, however you want to say it, follow the money. I think it's great. I mean, a lot of that stuff that I think he's talking about is spot on. I think it's really interesting. I guess RFK talked about this, but like this is on YouTube. Who cares? But Blackstone, State Street, and all those like going to be owning 60% of the single family homes in America in 6 years. Like that's probably an important thing for people to know.
When it crashes, they'll sell out.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that will all play out, but it's just that stuff's interesting. The allegations, I mean, it seems no doubt the dude did. I think he's a good guy largely, even back when he was being a bad boy. Like that guy was still in there. He was an addict. He was in a lot of pain. I mean, he's talked about those things. He was just a sex addict.
You can't have that sort of throughput without having done some pretty allegation worthy.
Yeah, for sure. So like at some point in there with drugs and that much sex, I'm sure he did some questionable at best things, you know, like what's the detail of all of it? You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It definitely seems like he's trying to be silenced in some regard.
That's the thing that seems the weirdest to me is like just the sudden coordinated use of these things, like because they were true the whole time, and obviously, and there we still have no, I don't know, sense of forgiveness or redemption in our current court of public opinion. But what seems really creepy to me is that it was so blatantly obvious that this is some sort of hit job of someone trying to get rid of him, that either the person calling the hit and the apparatus that's able to do the hitting is getting sloppy at showing itself, or it's so confident in itself that it doesn't care about being revealed. And that either of those two things are a little scary. And like that it can ask the UK government, who's currently mostly controlled by conservatives, to just like, hey, send an email to Rumble and ask them to take him down. You know, like,
you know, Sam, I'm glad you brought that up because, like, no. I was brought up under liberal training, and back in the day before it did the inversion too hard, the liberal training included this among others of like, we'll protect the Nazis' right to do their little marches so everyone can laugh at them, but also it was the Schindler's List first they came for, right, because there's the holy event offering, and we have to suffer and worship that, and so there's this guy that wrote this famous thing, right, and it's like, first they came for the pink-haired people, and I didn't stand up because I wasn't a pink-haired people. And then they came for the cat lovers, and I didn't stand up because I wasn't a cat lover. And then they say, then they came for the coffee lovers, and I didn't stand up because I wasn't a coffee lover, even on National Coffee Day. But then they came for me, and I was right? And so they programmed us with that, right? And so I'm sitting here watching all of this stuff unfold, and then they come for Alex Jones. And what they do, everybody was okay with it because Alex Jones they were tormenting the poor people who had their kids that were and he was making their lives even worse. So it's okay. He's a bad man. We can take him down and censor him, and that opens the door because you give them an inch and they take the whole thing. And so similarly, this Russell Brand nonsense, this is another door. This is a door toward the CDBCs, where like they take his money and then they take the money of people who donate to him, like they did with the Canadian truckers. And then, isn't it just better, guys, if we can turn off the money of the bad people? Oh yeah, that's great. And so that's the next door opening now. And thanks for bringing that up, Sam. Thanks for bringing that up.
like, how does that even happen? Like, does George Soros just like pick up the phone and like, like call some room of people and tell them to do this? Like, it's so, but something like that, whether or not it's George Soros, I have no idea, but something like that is happening, and it's weird.
I think they're trying to, if all that stuff is true and whatever's going on, they're trying. Yeah, I don't think they even care at this point if they get found out, because it's probably inevitable. And if there's going to be a collapse, which there will, I mean, it's Babel. You can't centralize stuff to a certain degree without it collapsing. I mean, that's just what.
There's another 6 minutes of that, and I'm sure it's fabulous. You can see chat appearances from me there. That's nice. Back to where we were. This surprise. I was sort of surprised Pastor Paul included this guy's take, and this is him doing that.
And again, Sam and I are like, this whole Russell Brand thing is weird. Now, again, it might be that there's some mastermind back there who's running a conspiracy. There's a great book out there about the conspiracy that Peter Thiel ran against Gawker Media. It's a terrific little book. And if you're
that, I almost, it's a terrific little book, guys. I didn't see that before, but I do want to check that book out. Let's talk about it in the Discord. You can find the link in the description where the dono links are.
You're skeptical about the reality of conspiracies. It's a great book because he just goes through the conspiracy that they hatched and pulled off and in fact won. But often in terms of these collective bodies that are out there, you don't need a conspiracy. Everybody just falls in line as instantiations of the spirit to walk in lockstep according to what this spirit directs. There'll be
Okay, so I didn't get to the part where he brings the guy in, but that part ties in nicely to the other thing on this card. And this card is how I make my way in this stream from Honeypot Cops to Faith Mountains. So I have to lean into it. And first of all, let's get to this must be 2/3 of the way through. I'm starting the sermon. The honeypot and controlled ops are terms that they'd be like noun cards in our Gathering the Magic game. A honeypot is a noun that attracts the people that we don't want found, get attracted to the honeypot set up by the people trying to find them. And so similarly, like once upon a time, they had a problem of too many people leaking things to too many different places. Like some guy who discovered something up in Washington State might leak it to the Washington Post, whereas somebody in Hoodistan might leak it to somebody else. And so they needed a place where all the leaks could go, and they wouldn't have to go looking for them so hard. And then they made this place called WikiLeaks. And for WikiLeaks, they made the messiah of that guy, Assange from the cult in Australia. And so similarly, like Russell Brand is functioning as a independent media thing. Like he's taking independent media to Rumble because as it shows what happens. He's like, oh, no, they've silenced me on YouTube. You can find me on Rumble. And so all the other people trying to get out truth and information will therefore go to the honeypot Rumble. The cops port, you haven't played enough branding yet. Well, you have, but not lately.
Don't worry, Mom. I know all about cannibalism. I saw it on TV.
See? It's okay. We saw it on the television.
The list?
Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast Magic Missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile.
Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
Bonus +2 to next stream saves for everybody who has put in a magic missile emoji in the Hive Mind chat by this moment.
I'm attacking the darkness.
All right, so as I said, the Honeypot would be one of the noun cards in the Gathering the Magic stream game for 7-year-olds. Another card would be Controlled Opposition. Now, that's the cops part of the Honeypots thing in the title, so I'm now delivering on the title and yet to get to the Faith Mountain, you son of a... Okay, Faith Mountains. I said, it's a really good far goal in the stream there. Okay, cops. The cops in Honeypot, cops stands for Controlled Opposition because, like, Honeypot Controlled Oppositions is a terrible stream title. And so as far as Controlled Opposition goes, it's like, as we've learned from the Matrix movies 2 and 3, not the first one, and also the book This Perfect Day by Ira Levin, part of the dystopian trilogy, 1984, This Perfect Day, and Brave New World. That the system is smart enough to know that what will take down the system will arise within the system, and as such, it takes various means and methods to make sure that the thing that rises in that position is theirs. It's controlled. It's our opposition, but it's ours. Controlled opposition. So, like Russell Brand, as he is, or as he seems to the people who love him, could have been predicted as a thing that would come. Like, well, if we clamp down on the media, this will happen. And so he could be sent as the figurehead for that movement as a controlled opposition operative. And I don't know if, like, being involved in Olympic ceremonies is an indicator of that or not. But, oh, what? Yes. Wait, no, one more. What? This card. I also wanted to highlight that a psyop, like people, like if that guy starts saying the word psyop, then he's a conspiracy theorist and I can ignore him. But the word psyop is of psychological operations, and psychological operations are usually surgery. They're cutting things in and out of basically your worldview. A psychological operation is an operation upon your axiomatic presuppositions that formulate your worldview when you pour faith into them, because they're tricking you to pour faith into the wrong things, and that twists the shape of your axiomatic and your worldview. I hope you're feeling virtually not alone. I see you guys. I see the hive mind is buzzing quite fervently out there, but I will go through as soon as I can. Let's catch back up where. Oh yes, this part that Pastor Paul said back in the day triggered all of this, which ties in. But I'm going to run it again so that we're back on the same page.
More of this. He just goes through the conspiracy that they hatched and pulled off and in fact won. But often in terms of these collective bodies that are out there, you don't need a conspiracy. Everybody just falls in line as instantiations of the spirit to walk in lockstep according to what this spirit directs. There'll be more.
Now, as we reviewed the other day, we covered this guy, our Herr Mueller friend, right, and his coverage of this Lumen's social theory. I want to I didn't get as deep into that as I wanted to. I stopped at the agency bit, so I'm going to go ahead and run that and see how it ties into what Pastor Paul just said.
The Enlightenment idea was that social progress leads to more and more self-control. It enhances agency, rationality, and sovereignty. That's the modernist dream. But systems theory suggests quite to the contrary. The more society evolves, the more complex it becomes, and the less control is possible. But no worries. The good news is, if there is less control, you're also less being controlled. In hyper-complex postmodernity, we're out of control. This is the biggest difference between social systems theory and mainstream social and political theories. Most of these theories, in academia and media alike, celebrate the sovereign individual. Both Jordan Peterson on the right and social justice theories on the left do this as well. Luhmann labels himself not just a radical constructivist, but also a radical anti-humanist. This sounds terribly negative and pessimistic. And it probably prevented Luhmann's theory from becoming popular in North America with its insistence on individual human agency and free will. However, Luhmann is not a pessimist at all. Just as there's nothing wrong with biological evolution, there's nothing wrong with an autopoietic society out of human control either. That humans are not ultimately in charge doesn't mean, for instance, that things cannot get better. Things can and do get better, but only in each respective system. Science constructs better truth. The economy creates more value. And the legal system can make better laws. But how this is better and for whom is always relative to the system. What's better in the economy is not necessarily better from a legal perspective. There is no chance of universal consensus on what is best for all. In a highly differentiated society, there is no view from the top, or from above, or from the outside. I, for one, am happy to accept this. I need no system to tell me what's better in society. We're constantly in the mode of second-order observation. And this is especially obvious in mass media. Here, we are always already in the sphere of second-order observation. Here, you always see something as it is being seen by someone else. You observe, for instance, my observation of Luhmann's observations as observed and edited by Phi. Luhmann says categorically, the reality of the mass media, this is the reality of second-order observation. We will take a closer look at this reality.
We're on fifth order observation, buddy. What the heck are you talking about? So, basically, the point there was that, like, there's no need for a conspiracy because everybody will just fall in the lockstep. How does everybody fall in the lockstep? Well, the way you get by in the system is finding a place in the system, a system in the system in which you can serve a role as an NPC. And so you just do your job in the system, and that's how all of this magic happens. Thanks to if you take a constructionist view, but that denies the hubris of the humans because we don't have the. And hey, we're almost there, guys. We're almost this. Everything on the back of that card I had already covered, so we're on the last card now. It's great. Remember it. We all know there is no agency. We all know that there is no agency. Any living gent can see doing what is right for me. Is lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency. Well, I scrolled through the hive mind, and other than the things I've already starred, I do note that ups make mo neutrino. You don't get two ups, you only get one. And yeah, slack, that one was too late. It didn't count. But those three folks have a plus to the next saves. Where are we at? Narrative spells. And you got a bunch of tabs open. Oh, yeah, because you were going to show. Yeah, you were surprised that Pastor Paul went this far into this guy, and you were going to let him eventually do it.
More of this kind of talk in the rough draft for Sunday sermon this week.
Brand over these allegations against him and YouTube demonetizing him. And a lot of people there's a lot of pointing and sputtering that I see, a lot of surprise, a lot of.
Now the YouTube demonetizing is kind of funny too. That's sort of like this half step. And I don't know Russell Brand's financial situation. Maybe he blew all that money on hookers and blow when he was working in the mainstream media. I mean, there's just so much hypocrisy to go around in all of these things, but they didn't take him down. They demonetized him. And it's like, I don't, now on one hand, that makes sense because advertisers. Oh shoot, where was I going with this? Attention.
It is a crime.
Mainstream media. I mean, there's.
It is a crime that I did not do this.
Oh shoot, where was I going with this? Attention.
To the hookers and blow line, which is hopefully right here.
There's just so much hypocrisy to go around making all that money on hookers and blow when he was working in the mainstream media. I mean, there's just so much hypocrisy to go around and all of these things, but they didn't take him down. They demonetized him. And it's like, I don't. Now, on one hand, that makes sense because advertisers are sensitive. Advertisers are extremely sensitive to the spirits in the world. They're extremely sensitive to public opinion is going this way or public opinion is going that way. And you know, I pointed that out in the Snyder-Peterson conversation where they're talking about the atmosphere, which is so funny because the New Testament talks about the spirits of the air. Yeah, they're all there in the atmosphere that Netflix is worried about. We're not going to do this, or we call it tone deaf. We have all these different ways of talking.
Did you know there's a thing called atmospheric engineering that would also be in our trading card game? Did you know?
This is what's happening, which is so funny in the world to me. When you sort of have these hidebound conservatives.
Well, then everyone loses their minds.
I'm looking like the Joker here. About the ways that these spirits collectively inhabit our minds.
Shock and what does one thing have to do with another, and isn't that terrible and silly, and that they would try to connect his revenues on the platform to off-platform activity.
First of all, the reason Grimgriz isn't on Patreon is because too much of his Patreon donation was being spent on monitoring his off-platform activity. And anybody who still uses Patreon should be aware of that the money they give through Patreon's cut, they use to monitor off-platform activity.
You have to understand the op here and how far back it goes and how it's structured. I wish you guys could have been there in 2017 when all the consensus building architecture was happening. There's a reason that I use the phrase censorship industry. It's not based on something I came up with. It's something they came up with. After the geopolitical turbulence.
Now again, there doesn't need to actually be a corporate room that they all sit in. There doesn't need to be phone calls. Again, read that conspiracy book. I should find out where it is. It's entitled Conspiracy by Ryan Holiday, and it's a great book. And you don't actually need to have that. Via the spirits, people just act together in what can look, for all intents and purposes, like a coordinate.
Oh no! Well, that's fine. That's fine. Hi, Embody. This is the official derailment moment of the show. Let's check in with the Hive Mind chat. Oh, Paul claims he got the hookers and blow line from Rick. From Rick. Okay. Like Rick, scapegoat Rick. All right. They're talking about the crying game out there. It looks like the last super chat is still the Coffee Day celebration from Ups. But apparently this stream is quintessential fall inversion grim, according to Chad the Alcoholic. Red Pill asked way back then, am I calling Brand a space demon? I'm saying if he is a space demon, I, for one, will not at all be surprised. And Paul thinks we could have somebody play in Midjourney to make it look like make a child, whatever, like, make the reveal footage, the deep fake reveal of Brand as the Mexican space alien. And Mo said, everything can be taken to crazy land, and it takes a miracle to bring something back from those hallowed halls. From those hallowed halls. Are we going to get hit 30 vouchers? If you count the demons, Paul, we're well over that.
A nation, but it's actually a coordination of a spirit. And it's you don't actually need human communication back and forth. It's, you know, think about the NBA. If you've got two guys on a fast break who've done this a number of times, they're sort of one in spirit on this fast break. They don't have to stop and say, now I'm going to go this way. And in fact, it's best if it's not intentional at all.
Now,
This
what'll
is
that asshole think of next? Is anybody got a dime? I don't know.
I saw Rascal had made a donation, and I understand that's one of the favorite clips. Oh, what?
It's just what people do it. They're just moved by this spirit and off they go.
The events of 2016, when alternative news online, when non-mainstream alternative populist news online became more powerful than mainstream news in terms of tilting elections and democratic outcomes and forming whole of society consensuses, such as with Brexit.
In other words, when sort of the monopoly of certain spirits is broken and lots of spirits come through. Now, again, happens in the Protestant Reformation, happens in the Great Awakenings. I mean, so much of what has happened in history is, in fact, you have these power blocks and they get broken. It's chaos and order.
Just gonna let these people pass with Brexit and with the Trump election. The foreign policy establishment's enforcement and basically conspiracy arm. These are secrecy, clandestine services. If you don't want conspiracy theories about them, maybe we shouldn't allow them to be conspiracy agencies. But they got together, they did a consensus building process after the 2016 election. And I've got all the clips and source documents for this. I've more than I can possibly publish, where they formulated a plan where they looked at alternative news as an industry and an ecosystem rather than as an individually emergent phenomena.
Which is terribly convenient, given that we've recently studied the systems view according to Luhrmann, who is studying autopoietic system emergences. It appears they too have saw that a system was emerging. And Dolly rocking it in from South Africa with an emoji YouTube doesn't recognize. Wow, Dolly, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think that may put us well on our way, if not over, this hobo protester sign from outside of the daily goal that like if I made that, I'd be solvent. Solvent, they call that. Thank you very much, Dolly. Thank you very much.
Okay, and let's say the guy is just full of it and he doesn't have the receipts on these meetings and anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Because people naturally, as intuitively as these two NBA players on a fast break today, they're going to pass the ball back and forth and somebody's going to dunk it. As intuitively, groups are working, and you have to ask, well, how are they on the same page? Why? And you can use all sorts of different frameworks for it. You can talk about they're participating in a shared narrative. They're being moved by the same spirit. I can put it in language that people listen to now and say, oh, that's very comfortable. I totally understand that. Because again, the language.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What a sunny day, you'll find me on a big rock basking. Normally I need the shade, but that's all been heaven. I need the world way more than anyone needs me in it. If not for you, I'd run away and not admit it. I disappeared into an empty dark casino. I gambled everything, lost it incognito. And no one knows how broken we can promise you still. And that's until my comic book somebody It's mixing on my colors finish my head too light. I pass the days just floating on the daydream sailing. I did the dishes, took the trash out, feel amazing. I disappeared into an empty dark casino. I wonder what song is Lacy Sudestino. And no one knows I'm breaking promises still. And that's until my comic books start writing bill. It's that's a good one. Go! I finished all of my to-do list. I heard my favorite single by my friend's band Moonkiss. I'm in my sheet, built to seek out my own pleasure. It just so happens that my heart's my biggest treasure. I disappeared into an empty dark casino. I gambled everything and lost the incognito. And no one knows I'm breaking promises still. And that's what's in my comic books, I'm writing bill. Yeah.
I'd like to take this moment to remember that we're all alive in this timeline together at this moment, and that we can take a breath in unison and weird things like that together because we're still alive in the now. And I hope you're feeling virtually not alone. You want to ohm? Home, where my thoughts escaping. Oh, no. If you're not going to do it with feeling, don't do it at all. Use the dream capture of optimal grip. Hi, everybody. This is the Faith Mountains Honeypot Cops stream. I'm General Griswold Gaius Grimm, host of the first, General of the First LARP Ingression Protocol, host of this, member of the Sacred Order of Foolish Transparency and Fraternal Regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy. Hello, the assassins have failed. We're coming. We're the good guys because we got the Brotherhood.
Do you have anything you want to say in conclusion?
Well, I don't think I will by the time I actually conclude, Papa Peterson, but we still have to get to the Faith Mountains. And I got like 7 tabs still open. I mean, do you even know what this stream is about anymore? Well, yeah. There's this guy by the name of Russell Brand. And he once upon a time was a stand-up comedian. And then, and when he was a stand-up comedian, he used to do things like pigs' heads and tearing up the Quran. And somehow he got tapped and was made super famous, during which time he was a drug and sex addict and perhaps an MK Ultra handle or handlee. Ask the truthers. They'll fetch you a whole thing, I'm sure. And then he left that scene after doing David Lynch's Transcendental Meditations and the 12-step program and became an advocate for addicts and also a controlled opposition against the state. And but as part of that journey, the one time after his famousness, maybe he did this Messiah Complex tour where he talked about Jesus and Messiahs a lot, and then he was in the 2012 Olympic ceremony, and then he becomes kind of like a figurehead of independent media. Like, I recall months back, he was saying like, we, Joe Rogan and I, we're the new, you can't trust the corporate media. It's us, right? So he's pushing that vibe real hard. And then he goes on and does this thing on TikTok, which like where he specifically points at the crucifixion. And that's all very mysterious. And you wonder, wonder if he's getting crucified, what could it possibly have been for? What could it possibly have been for?
And may I just mention, finally, and this is also a fact, that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the elite.
So if you point around and say, hey, look, guys, everything's inverted.
Slime! What? It's a river of slime!
You might get crucified by the Blue Church on cue. On cue.
Oh, shoot. Where was I going with this? Attention.
I did it that way. So, yes, here we are. Welcome, guys. This is the stream. I hope you're having a great time and feeling virtually not alone. There's a lot of hive mind chat happening right over here. I haven't quite been able to catch it. Marty is it's here. It's right now anyway. Maybe we should grab a copy and download it to your hard drive so it's not gone forever. This is excessive branding, I know. But nonetheless, hey, don't make it branding then. Just play you and Hyun for a minute. Okay.
How's that not a grip? You're inserting tools between how I interface with the universe and saying the tool is the grip, and the tool is not the grip.
No, the grip is your grip on the tool, and the tool's grip on.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is not me. That's not me gripping radiation. That's me gripping the tool that grips radiation. You have to understand.
All right, guys, this is the Honeypot Cops Faith Mountain stream. We've made it through the Honeypot. I think we've made it through the Honeypot Cops stream. I did. Thanks again for the attention, Pastor Paul. I did note, however, that you stopped your coverage of this fella right about here.
These collective bodies. There are these spirits. There's these things that are moving in, and that's what's moving through the culture. We talk about ideas. Ideas are sort of this modern way of, you have the Jordan Peterson, Carl Jung. People don't have ideas. Ideas have people. Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
But it's called capacity building. This is a concept in nonprofit world which refers to the pumping up of financial resources and personnel and technological abilities. But number one is financial resources. So, for example, when the State Department wants to run an operation of.
Okay, that's you get the idea. We understand where he's going.
Right. Whether you want to acknowledge it out loud or not, we're in it, and it's really important, to use the we. Every now and again, I get on the Twitter and I will say, like, we're lost, we're a mess, I'll use a we, right?
This is a PvP server. The beast takes what it wants and gets what it gets. Man protects the sacred. You're part of it now. Choose denim. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Chris. This is the Faith Mountain
stream. So Pastor Paul stopped his coverage of this weird fellow who is apparently a man named Mike Baines. And the part where he stopped his coverage is something I would like. I think it's Defense Against the Dark Arts, and everyone should know. And so now that's the clip I'll be running. Apparently is about 4 minutes deep in this Mike Ben Cyber at Mike Ben Cyber Twitter handle, X guy, whatever.
Refers to the pumping up of financial resources and personnel and technological abilities. But number one is financial resources. So, for example, when the State Department wants to run an operation in a foreign country, the first thing they do is they capacity build all of their civil society and private sector and news media outlets there. They pump them up so that they're more useful as assets, so that they have higher capacity to carry out the things they will be instrumentalized for. They said,
but Pastor Paul did explicitly go through like improvements in camera and microphone that are enabled by capacity building, such as the capacity building you give for me when you have. Thanks, Shadow Cabal. All right, pull yourself together, man. Pull yourself together.
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Nanny.
This one. Hey, oh, you left the thank you up. Well, I am very thankful. You know, you might have to flip burgers or something if it wasn't for these people. Okay. So, capacity building. Who the heck is this guy? Well, this guy, Mike Baines, appears to be someone trying to make a living on Twitter, if I had to guess. So, finding anything he does say that's worthwhile is a big find. But way up, let's see. He's an executive director of Fuck Off Freedom, former State Department. Yeah, because people ever become former that. That's that. Oh, and that's just what he says. He's on a mission. His mission is to restore the golden age of the internet at the Foundation for Freedom Online.com. And here's somebody else saying things.
So, and possibly because I agree that he's right on the general thrust of his message, which is, of course, anti-establishment, like the rest of us.
Yeah.
And so good. I'm glad that he's sort of come over to this side. And there's a distinct advantage that he has here, because in 2015, the left was trying to say, look, we're going to use Russell Brand to reach the youth. You know, the youth that are listening to him. But actually, not really so much the youth that listen to him. It's 40-year-old women who are listening to Russell Brand, right? This is, I mean, look at his messaging. His messaging is very feminine, Like he's got a particular way with women, and you can see it in his hands and in his cadence and in the way he gives them his total focus.
And his accessorizing.
Right? Yeah. He dresses.
He really is very femme accessorized.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, but if you think about it, actually, the way that the left works, they use middle-aged white women as kind of stormtroopers. Right?
They do, absolutely.
They use them really, really
Here,
aggressively.
the wine moms,
Yeah.
that whole thing, yeah.
Because they're deeply invested in a lot of left-wing presuppositions and axioms. And
these were the feminists.
Exactly. They've
Yeah.
committed their lives to these things. It's like, look, I'm going to grow old alone, and I've had a bunch of abortions, and I've got triple-digit body count, right?
And I have to defend my lifestyle rather than face shame and guilt.
Exactly.
Well, there's that angle. There's that angle. The stormtroopers line was particularly nice, Carl. Well done. I don't know if you know this, but he also suffered a relapse into video games around the same time I did. Not that lady. Not. I'm sorry, lady. I don't know who you are. This guy. He's got a Twitch channel too. Good news, everybody. I have made it through all the Russell Brand stuff. All the tabs are closed except for the last one. And the last one is just the branding I play before I do the Faith Mountains bit, and it's all over for today. So that's exciting. Here's me playing that branding bit before that part.
Is Jonathan, in a way, it's another way of saying the very point that you made. So he said, imagine just a straight line and a curving line. The curving line, he says, is more beautiful than the straight line. And why is that? The straight line represents a kind of an order that imposes itself sort of irrespective of the particularity of the matter there. It just mechanically is there. And in a way allows nothing of the matter to appear. The curved line is the triumph of order, but it's a triumph of order precisely in the particularity and the constraints of the matter, where the very constraints of the matter become a means of expressing the freedom. So you get this incredible marriage. Use that word marriage. I think it's beautiful here, of form and matter, the from above, the from below, the concept and the practice, all of these things, the universality and the particular. Somehow that's beauty is where it all really comes together.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We're to the Faith Mountains. If you've made it this far, it just really means a lot to me that you've been with us this far. So because this has been an extra special, really long stream. Like you guys know, I normally go about an hour less than this. So any of you who have endured with me this far long, you get +7 to next stream saves, and they may be a while. Welcome to the Faith Mountain. What'd you do with the Faith Mountain card? Oh no, I threw away all the cards. What was Faith Mountain? All right. Faith Mountains is obviously a reference to the line that our Lord uses about if ye had just a little bit of faith, you could move that mountain. And if he says that and it's true, and we're putting faith into things we don't realize all the time, maybe those things are shaped by narrative spells, even if we don't understand the narrative. Like maybe symbolic speaking affects our right hemisphere unbeknownst to our watchmen on the left, trying to keep us on the lookout for dangerous things like Olympic rituals. And maybe those things shape a narrative subconsciously, but that our natural effusion of faith through our attention gets poured into those narratives, and that those narratives actually are capable of moving mountains, and that our reality is formed by our collective faith expenditure and shaped by the narrative spells. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'll do a quick little pap smear about it. Woo! That's the pap monster for past authoring program. It's not actually a gynecological reference. But I once upon a time went to I discussed this in the Witchbound stream, I think a little. I went to one of those Reiki healers after somebody on Google Plus recommended them for their back pain. I was going for other reasons, and it turns out she was one of those Akashic record readings ladies. And I don't know if you know what the Akashic record is, but it's this new age concept that everything that ever actually happens, and instead of the possibilities of happening, but actually happens, gets recorded in crystals. In Arkansas, the crystals that record everything that happens among it's our human story. It's the Akashic records, and this lady purported that she could read them. Now, whether or not she could actually read them or whether or not they exist is kind of irrelevant. I mean, theoretically, if we're all pouring enough faith into their existence, they will exist. But the point, more importantly, we know that faith operates on our own belief structures and world frame and axiomatic presuppositions that shape our interaction with the universe, world interface. And so, if I go see a lady who tells me, all right, when you were a small child, you put a protective corset around yourself. You came here to be a problem solver, but you're having a hard time solving problems because when they did that thing when you were young, you put a protective thing around yourself, so you can't really feel anything so to protect yourself, and you don't need that anymore because you're grown now. Now, this lady told me all of this, and like however much faith I pour into that, thereby shapes my worldview of my view of myself, which is it's crazy. It's like one of those if you see one of those 4-dimensional cubes, or the hypercube they call it, it's kind of like that, where the one in the middle is the self. Anyway, if narrative spells are cast and we pour faith into them, they shape at least ourselves, if not the reality around us. And and those may be shaped subconsciously using symbolism in mass rituals. And that is mainly there was something else at the end of the card too. But that's enough of the Faith Mountains portion of the Honeypot Cops stream. Here's the rest of that branding, and I'll check in with the Hive Mind. Thank you all for making it this far. Welcome. I hope you've been virtually not alone, talking to each other and stuff as I ramble on and play branding. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
I think that it's interesting. I think one of the most satisfying images for a human person, and that's why it's so universal, is a straight line with a curvy line around it. Mm-hmm. I think that's actually. I think it's like hard coded into us.
Yeah.
When we see that
it's
line,
DNA, you might say.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you see that caduceus kind of structure, it's like, I don't know. I remember being very young and just drawing that over and over, just because there was some weird aspect of it that was very, very satisfying. And I think that when you think of those two together, so Christ on the cross is a good example, where Christ is usually actually drawn as a serpentine figure on the cross, but you have the straight, and then you have the curve, which comes and softens it and makes it, and is also a kind of dying at the same time. It's like there's no two ways about it. It's like there's a kind of letting go, right, of the straight, but also attached to it. Like, it's weird. Where the cross, obviously, it's hard to describe because there's too many things going on in there. But my intuition. So I remember a good example. Contrapposto is a good example, right? So if you
I love that, Chad. That dude says contrapposto way too many times. Thank you, Ups, for the extra long live stream. This was a big one. I had to, Pastor Paul featured me on the homeroom and everything, so I had to deliver to anybody who came from that. We have some hot comments from the Hive Mind. Neutrino with Ricky Tikki Tavi. There are snakes in the grace. Let's go hunting. Marty asks, will you be wearing a corset next stream, Grim? No, I won't even be wearing a Howdy Rascal sports bra that should be available in the store below because nobody has purchased me one, much less a corset. So no, I will not be wearing one. Yes, streams with friends, the fraternal regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy. That's what friends mean, not what that other thing they say it means. It means fraternal regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy, where they're trying to hijack our it's complicated, but that's what friends really means. Okay. Oh, thanks everybody. Thanks. All right. We're leaving now. Here's a traditional exit. Wait.
Do you have anything you want to say in conclusion?
Yes, we're all in it together. And thank you, Embody. Thank you. What are we exiting with? Okay.
And may I just mention, finally, and this is also a fact, that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which...
You know what? You did pay for the funding, and it's inappropriate for me to have not acknowledged that. So let's see. Don't forget from M. Thank you very much. Red Pill, Chad the Alcoholic, Lynn Lavoy, Upcycle Club, Rascal, Dolly. Guys, thank you so much for making this all possible. You're what is that? You're increasing my capacity. I appreciate it very, 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 very much. But this is what we're trying to do here. And thanks, Doc, for stopping
The
by.
list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast Magic Missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile. Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here. I'm attacking the darkness.
Keep going. What do you mean? What do I even say now? What do I do? What do I let people come on and sit in the hot seat and say words instead of me? What we're gonna need? You need another set of savings throw bonuses if I kept going. See Phil over here. He's remembering to embody. Maybe that's the part. Maybe we go have lunch. I don't. In the future, if I'm prompted with money at the end of the stream, I will try to continue. But come on, everything in today's stream is way too. Get the hot seat. Well, all right. Well, I'll give it a shot, Marty. I'll put it out there and see if anybody wants to come on. I can do it. I can do it for you guys. The Shadow Cabal came through in a big way today, and it's Friday, so that's very nice. There it is. There's the invite of any random strangers of the people on not strangers. You guys aren't strangers, mostly. I mean, the door is open if there's a stranger wanders by, but mostly it's you guys, so we should be fine. There's that if anybody wants to. And what? Go play the out of touch branding and get it killed from this? These I've played so many of these. Here, how about this one? You got to load in a different brand. This is what keep going looks like right now, guys. I don't have keep going protocols established. Bong, hello, cheers. They're holding me hostage. The audience is like, keep going. A link to brand. There's a link to brand I could play. Okay, well, maybe that's all right. Let's see if these guys say anything else useful. Well, I get that link.
But why Russell? Is he really that big in the UK?
No, not really. Right.
So why?
No, he's not. The thing is, there are a lot of things here, right? So Russell Brand is famous in the UK, but he's not on TV anymore, right? He has been on TV for
just
a while.
reruns,
right? No, not even reruns, because Russell Brand got really famous in Britain probably about 20 years ago, something like that, doing a show called Big Brother's Big Mouth, right? He did a bunch of other stuff, but this was the one that I think it's the most notable. And the thing is, that's not the sort of thing you do reruns on, because it was a commentary on Big Brother, the TV show that was on. So you wouldn't.
He was just commenting on a reality show.
Yeah, exactly.
He was always meant to do podcasting.
Yeah,
right.
No, he probably was. This was before podcasting even existed.
Exactly.
Right? And to be honest with you, right, I don't really like having to defend Russell Brand because he is fucking annoying, right? he was right? Because we only had four TV channels, and channels 1 to 3 were really boring, right? And so you're like 17, 18 years old.
You feel like channel that show sounds like you sent the StreamYard's link. Hey Chad, you came by. I see your paneling, sir. Are you actually there? Oh, McMo coming in too. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. McMo, never before seen. That's how he's being seen now. Hey,
what's that, dude? Chad,
and apparently Russell Brand could be here at any moment, thanks to the work of Marty. That could be exciting. You guys say words.
Well, hell of a stream today. Hell of a stream.
Yeah, man. Hell of a stream. I'm trying to get this going.
All right, Chad, you're the superstar of the branding. Would you like it if more people made brandings? Yes,
of course I would. Yes, I would.
You could talk. This is fun for me. You talking to so please hold the audience for a minute.
Okay, well, yes, I would love to see other people do branding. Here, let me give myself a little smile here. Smile.
And if you want to get any topical about today, go ahead. I'll be a minute.
Well, yeah, there should be more branding. I think that until somebody else makes more branding, I shouldn't have any of my other new brandings released. You know,
I've been in a creative slump, or else I would have done some new branding, but I haven't been really making anything. I've been having to work my day job too much.
Yeah, I get that. I just kind of go through these little creative slumps too, and then I'm just like, oh, maybe I'll just make something right here. And so that's what I do.
My theory is I've got to get enough dumb things out of me to produce something actually helpful. And that's why I spend so much time in the hive mind. You know what I'm saying?
Get the nonsense out somewhere. I actually made art the other day for the first time in forever. Check that out.
Oh, that's very nice.
That's what the kind of drawings come out of me.
Is it abstract or are those Pokemon?
You start with the scribble and then like make the faces that appear with your pareidolia.
Yeah.
Happy National Coffee Day. That's kind of amazing, eh? Did you guys submit? Did you commune with the coffee goddess today?
Who decides these national days?
The nation.
Colombians.
Well, of Colombia, they get to pick their own national day. Yeah.
So I drink them like energy drinks because that's what I drink.
Yeah, that's
I'm extreme.
Like the monster with the 666 on the can, those kind.
Kinda.
That's nice, Chad. Stop that.
The real mark of the beast. That's
Yeah.
where they tested. That's where they tested the vaccines.
Yeah,
Test them out in the Monster Energy drinks.
I mean,
It contains a bioengineered ingredient.
I also got the vax, so I'm kinda
Double
screwed.
dipping.
I mean, look at me.
Not guys. That's it's not up to you. I could throw if it's not my time, I could jump off a cliff and he'd keep me around. It's beyond my control. You're not going to scare me into doing things that you say are safe just because. I don't know.
It's not about the chemicals you put into your body. It's about the chemicals that come out of your body. That's what Jesus said.
Riff. That's a nice riff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm putting a lot of gas out.
So Chad, you said that you did a brand piece already. You're going to release it later.
Well, I have. Oh, you mean like a video or a brand? Because there's a brand.
I thought I got from the Hive Mind that you were going to do a piece on Russell Brand or release a piece on Russell Brand, the whole Russell Brand situation. Is that, or have you? Is it like you're going to record it in the future and have not yet?
It's I did a test run with it and uploaded it, but it got blocked, so I have to re-edit it, and then I'm gonna premiere on Monday.
That sounds cool. I'm glad you're starting to do premieres. That gives us a hive mind to hang out in. That doesn't necessarily mean somebody live streaming. You know, we can all I'll be able to chat with people there rather than this.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And then I do have another branding sitting in the VNA logos thing there that I made from the video, the tutorial video.
My favorite one.
No, yeah, your favorite one. That you seem to be holding out on.
No, it's not a matter of holding out. It's what you put in there is usually a McMo. No, it's a McMauve, and I have to change it to a MP4. And
I wonder if I can render it as an MP4.
I haven't managed to do that with that one yet. But there's this website I have to go take it to, upload, download it. That's why I haven't ran it yet. But now you've said you don't want any more released until somebody else does one. And Dolly's doesn't count because she already did that. So we'd have to wait for a new one before anybody sees that one. But they saw it in the tutorial video, I'm sure.
Yeah. But that video got probably only the hive mind. To watch it, So
it was a tutorial.
Yeah.
So McMullen, you're a long time hanging out, but you didn't catch the what? I saw you. There was a new reference for you, so you came in after it somewhere in the stream today. Dolly's down there, son of a. Hey, sorry, Dolly. It puts it way down
Dolly.
there. I only see the top 4 unless I notice.
It's okay. I was just waiting and listening for like 10 minutes for this part. I like that, Chad. It's really fun to do, actually.
It's
Is that a shark?
Game.
What is this shark thing?
I actually think I'm going to try that.
It's
you got a box laying around?
Yeah. It's the box face game. It's hard to do. It's kind of I bet you could do a good job. You probably have put makeup on, whereas I haven't. At least not.
I don't need to use makeup to do that. It's so cool.
I mean, not only does it make you look really cool, it also makes you sound a lot more clear too.
Does it really? Well, I can't really tell. It's one of those scenarios where you can't tell how you sound. And then once you hear it, you're like, oh my god, I sound like that.
You sound exactly like somebody with a box on their face. Really, that's how I would describe the audio you're providing at this moment.
Oh my god!
That's because my earbud is up against the side of the box, and that's reverberating through it. So
we're feeling the vibrations, man. So McMo, I've never had you on the hot seat before. You're now on the hot seat. Welcome. Who are you and why are you in this little corner?
I'm just a rando. I accidentally hopped on a PBK stream maybe like a year ago. No, less than a year. But I just have a work from home job. I used to work manual labor like Chad, and so I listened to a lot of stuff and podcasts and audiobooks and such. And then I found this flotilla, this part of the flotilla, this boat. I found my captain in Grim Grizz. But honestly, no, it was just a little bit more my style. I feel compelled to post loving and theological comments under PVK, but here I can kind of be my true self and be mostly just a jokester and not really take anything too seriously. But yeah, just you know, Grim is you're my favorite corner of the corner. So
well, part of that is hella interesting, and since you're in the hot seat, I want to lean into it. I can be my real self here, and that's it. Sort of leans into that Lumen systems theory, right? Where you participate in a place by performing a function for that place. And we end up having all these different compartmentalized selves that are created because they're specialized to fit in those places. And like at minimum, people end up with a home self and a work self. I think because it's just the rules of behavior are so different.
Yeah. Well, my first kind of that makes me think of being like a teenager and just like I grew up in a fairly small Southern Baptist church, and I remember there being a difference between like the types of things you say at church versus the types of things you say at school versus the types of things you say in a locker room versus the types of things, et cetera, et cetera. And I always had this dream that I could just be one person throughout the whole thing, but I don't really think you can do that. Like, I don't actually think it's possible. Like code switching is another fun word. I'm also from the deep South, and my education slammed my accent away, so most people can't hear it. But yeah, I mean, there's people I speak with a more Southern accent with. There's people that I find it doesn't come out. I think if you think too hard about playing a particular role, it starts to become phony and fake. But if you're just yourself all the time, you do notice that there are some versions where you have to hide things, and there's some versions where you don't have to hide things. And I think here with all you weirdos, I feel less, I don't feel the need to hide so much of the weirdness, particularly probably just like cursing and drug use. Nothing too bad, but I don't want to brag about that stuff on PVK's channel. Although he's watching, he's probably going to clip this and just blow my spot up now.
He's not that type.
Yeah.
Dolly, what's on your face? What is this?
So I thought I would show you one of my COVID masks. I think it's pretty cool. I got a bit jealous with Chad with the box on his head, so I thought I'd just dig this out quickly.
That looks like a Rolling Stones brand one to me.
I know, right?
I still think we need to make Mud Hut's Peterson one of those goiters that you can pull up over. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Let me find it. You guys talk.
Dolly, have you and Tayo gotten a chance to talk about starting that Bible study? Those Bible study videos?
Well, we've sort of started one, but just on this app. So I see that he's found the invite link, and I see that he's begun reading it. But I should really check and email him and just sort of. We don't know what we're gonna do to kind of create like a video to share. We don't really know like how to bring it live or how to bring it like online. So we welcome any ideas. But
do you guys have a StreamYard?
Yeah, if you want to join. But if you want to join, I think on Discord, send Teo or me a message, and then we can send you the links to join into the Bible study through the app.
Yeah, that'd be
that's
cool.
the best
I'd
I
love to
can
do that.
offer. Okay, cool. Awesome.
I'll try not to
Awesome.
cuss too much.
You can just
Like
be yourself, that's all.
I mean, Chad and Grim can speak to this, but at least for me, growing up, anytime I hear somebody without an American accent, or somebody that has a different accent, I just automatically respect them and look up to them. So I will try to not give in to imposter syndrome if we ever do, if I do get involved with the Bible study.
That's the key of Carl's fame, I think, is that the attribution of worldly experience to those with accents. I mean, it certainly served him well. I did find this art. This is what I think Mud Hut should put on a goiter for the next infection. This work here. I'd love to be able to fold over his nose and then pull that bottom part up over my own face for whenever they make me wear a mask. And I think it's really revealing about some inner truths her psyche saw about.
That's actually very interesting. Because everything's sort of coming out, and it looks like some sort of spiritual purging of some kind or whatever. But it looks that image looks so uncomfortable. It's really
the eyes are great, right? That's Russian Coma Peterson right there, right?
Yeah, right.
What was that, Chad?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
But that link to her shop there is in the description with all the other ones every stream. If you guys want to find it, you can buy one of those and send her a message. Hey, this should be a goita. I think we. Oh, that's not what I meant. Welcome, everybody. Not used to people being here.
I think
What's the over under on?
Go ahead, McMo.
What's the over under on JBP being the Antichrist? I know we all love him here, but there's a number,
Yeah, no, I'm not. The odds are so low. I'm not even gonna. Plus, I don't really know how to properly phrase an over under, as if I knew what it was.
I would have accepted anything. I don't know either.
I think that's the joke about over under is there is no way to say it. There's no way to answer that question, and if you answer it, then you show that you don't know that. But
I think it's like a number. Like if you say you could have been 7, and I think that would have been legitimate.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's 40-30, or over
Right.
under sounds like it's asking for 2.
I think. Well, is it 2 or is it just the number that you either go over or under?
Oh, see. Is there anyone in the hive mind that knows whether or not we're right or wrong about this nonsense? We're not thinking alone here.
Well, I'm not. I'm trying to think. What on earth are you talking about? So,
so there's gambling when you're going to make a bet.
Yeah,
it's a way of saying what are the odds.
Yeah, so it's like you could. The over under on the Chicago Bulls basketball game tonight would be 73. And if they make more than 73, that's the over. And if they make less, then that's the under.
All right, then I think it's a clear, real thing, and not whatever I just said it might be, because I don't understand.
It can be both. It's both clear and unclear, and you showed us that.
Oh, look, I don't know anything about sports betting, which is apparently what it's about. It involves picking the score total. Okay, see, that's good.
Learn something new every day.
Sports criminally under.
It makes me look good that I didn't know already. So that's nice.
Very wise.
I always thought that savings throws could become a thing in Vegas where they bet on things, maybe, but small baby steps, Al, baby steps. All right, that I think I've gone over your $10 worth, McMo, and given you an appearance. So. Thanks, everybody. Yep. Goodbye to you and to Chad and to Dolly. No, wait, there it is. All right, and now goodbye to you guys. Thanks for being in this really long stream with us all. And I'm a giant jerk face for not doing this for them before I kick them out.
Do you have anything you want to say in conclusion?
Yes. Russell Brand is probably an alien. I told you so. I told you so. All right, and this just to close in case you guys want to say goodbye to each other. Let's have a sunset.